The aura is with me! Hey guys, KRX50 here with another double review, and my first review video for the year. This time I'll be reviewing the Super Talking Guardian of Aura Lucario and Super Talking Staff of Ware from Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. That's the 8th movie for those who aren't counting, or who lost track of the count. So, these two toys are a large talking replica of Lucario, and a toy replica of the magic staff used by Lucario's master from the 8th movie, Sir Aaron, who lived in a time before Pokeballs existed. So, we'll start off with the first one, which is Lucario. Right here. We have the head sculpt with his painted eyes, little mouth, the ears, and the aura sensors on the back of his head. We've got his body, which is covered in yellow fur with a white spike. These two shoulder collars, shoulder bands, coming down his blue arms to his paws with spikes on each of them. Little band around his waist. The blue upper legs and the legs down here, with the paws having these pink pads, paw pads. Now, you might remember that I earlier back in 2010 did a review of another Lucario figure that was released in America by Jack Specific, and doing a size comparison, got that figure right here. You can see that this figure here is a lot bigger. And these two toys are made by Takara, who has basically consistently made Pokemon toys in Japan. Now you also see differences in proportions between the two of them. And the main thing there is that, well, from what I can tell looking at pictures, this Lucario here was based off the artwork for the Diamond and Pearl games of Lucario. So it's more based on the game Lucario, while this Lucario I'm reviewing here was based on the animation model used for Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Though, despite being bigger than the American Lucario figure, it's less articulate. The only articulation you get for this figure is a head rotation joint, and because of the way the aura sensors on the back of his head are spread out, it will bump into the shoulders, and actually a shoulder rotation joint is the only other points of articulation it has. No rotation joint in the legs, no bending outwards, or, this is a little deceptive here. We got this line here and here that might make it look like there's a rotation joint, but there isn't one. No rotation joint, no wrist swivel. But it is well detailed and nicely proportioned. And unlike the American figure, which had the tail out to the side, this one has the tail going straight back out. And the tail is removable, and you can just put it back on like that. So we got the on-off switch here, and the speaker over here, with the battery pack right there. So we can switch it on like that. And both of these toys have phrases from the actual movie and the Japanese dialogue of the movie. So just press the button here and you'll get sounds. That first sound is Hadou wa Ware ni, which is the phrase that's used throughout the Japanese dialogue of the movie, and is what was translated to "the aura is with me." And this is the actual voice of Lucario from the movie, voiced by Daisuke Namikawa, who anime fans might know as Ulquiorra Schiffer from Bleach or Eustace Kid from One Piece, and Super Sentai fans might know as the voice of Engine Speedor from Engine Sentai Go Onger. And so we got the next one. That one means your aura is the same as Sir Aaron's, which is something he says to Ash when he meets him. That one is I believe. That one means I will follow you. Agreed. That's what he's saying. And the last two are basically Pokemon speak, where he says Luca and Lu. And then it just cycles back. Well, then it goes to... After it follows that pattern, it goes to random phrases. After the basic order, it randomizes the phrases. So just switching it off, we'll move on to the Staff of Cererin. So we've got here, it was packaged in two pieces and had to be assembled. We've got the handle, which is this long brown rod. And we've got the adorning piece, which has got this ring and these two bangles that represent the aura sensors on the back of Lucario's head. And then we have this crystal up here, which has a silver cylinder on the inside, and that will come into play. You might slightly be able to notice it, but the crystal here is actually molded in... Well, it's supposed to be molded in a kind of translucent blue plastic, a light translucent blue plastic, but it's very translucent, almost to the point of being transparent. You got the top view right there. And so we have the on-off switch back here and two buttons. Now for now we're going to be using the first button, which is the A button. The B button I'll get into later. So switching on like that. You're gonna bring this up close because, well, you gotta pay attention to this when these phrases are going over. So, yeah, the first phrase here is also Hadou wa Ware ni yari, which is the aura is with me, just as Lucario said. And what you might notice there is that, just gonna do that again. There's actually a little Lucario figure that's illuminated with a red light whenever you press the A button. And, of course, that is also the authentic voice of Cererin from the Japanese dialogue, voiced by Koichi Yamadera, who has had a voice role in every Pokemon movie to date, and anime fans may also know him as the Japanese voice of Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, and Togusa from Ghost in the Shell. So moving on to his next phrases. That's Hadou o Kanjiro, which means feel the aura. Next is I believe in you, Lucario. And the last one for the A button is accept my aura. And the light actually goes all around, so you can see it from all angles. Now, there's also the B button here, and what that does is that these two toys are actually designed to interact with each other. If you have them in the right proximity, you have them close enough to each other, with both of them on, and using the B button and having this part here, which is an infrared signal, pointed at Lucario, you can make Lucario say special phrases, and the two toys will talk to each other. So starting it off. I'll try that again. So that's Lucario calling out to Cererin, and Cererin says, I hear you, Lucario. Next one is Cererin says, this is a time flower. And then Lucario does a little confirmation by asking, time flower? Next is this. Lucario says it's no good, and then Cererin says, you should be able to do it, I believe in you, Lucario, which is from their training session, which appeared in a flashback. And the last shared phrase is this. Which is Lucario calling out to Cererin, and then Cererin saying, Lucario, my friend, if it was possible, once more I'd like to meet you. And that plays out, that's set in a pivotal point in the movie. And those are the only 4 shared phrases, but it still is a nice feature. These two are very nice toys. Just gonna set this back down. And me, as you guys might know, Lucario is my favorite Pokemon, and the 8th Pokemon movie is what made him my favorite, and I also loved the interaction and the friendship between Lucario and Ware in that movie. So for me, these were a must, and I'm glad I got them. If you're a fan of Lucario or a fan of the 8th Pokemon movie, I definitely recommend buying these two together, because these two bring out, I mean, the interaction is really great, and you know, it's basically this thing unlocking new sounds in the Lucario figure. And one is really, I mean, it's just the best idea. It's really just best to buy these two together because they bring out the best in each other, just like the 2 characters they're based upon. So, please rate, comment, subscribe, and check out my blog at krx50.blogspot.com. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.